Okay, Abba and Preach dropped this video, 10 kids, 6 baby mamas. Pastor brags about cheating. I always go when I see Abba and Preach talk about something faith related because they, as far as I know, are not Christians. So it's always a little, I just like, oh man, like what representation are they getting of Christians when they see this sort of stuff? Now I got to give you guys a heads up.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Explicit.
All right, so I think this dude's also called the Red Pill Pastor.
Oh no.
Which is cringe.
Well, I knew that I was number one, but I knew when I met him, he told me, you're my starter, but I got other ones on the bench.
Pretty bad start, huh? Pretty rough start.
Well, it's cool. He's managing the Celtics. Yeah, the whole team. That's good.
That's crazy.
Imagine all dressed in green.
Nah, just imagine looking at your girl. She just pissing you off like, yo, back to the bench. Head coach just made a call. Back to the bench. Sabrina, you're up.
What else would you tell me, baby?
That you my point guard.
Yes. And that you love.
Oh no,
My point guard.
This is not good.
This is bad.
This is really bad.
Oh my gosh.
I was in a relationship I was okay with that as long as I was first. And there's a reason for that. I want, the women to know out there. I didn't know Jesus. I didn't, know who I was. Would you say, babe, I had no value?
So you had no value. You had no worth.
That's the face. That's the face, fam.
This is what we all thought.
Oh, this is what we all thought, bro. You had no value. You had no worth.
Oh.
Has this brother never heard of just the Imago Dei? You're created in the image of God. Therefore, we all have value.
I'm 17.
Yeah,
of course. I'm a teenager, and I was preconditioned to think this way because my mother divorced my father for infidelity, and I'd always thought if you could just forgive him, our family would stay together.
Oh, that's deep.
So that was not a deal breaker for me, as long as I knew about it. Now he knows if I found out about it, we'd have a problem.
But if he told you in advance, you'd be okay.
Yeah.
So if he said, "Hey, listen, tomorrow I got this little shorty lined up. I'm gonna go run through and I'm gonna smash it. I'll see you the next day."
He would never say that.
He would never say that.
I mean, that's pretty close, right?
He would never say that.
It was usually after the fact.
Yeah.
What? So that's not getting
even worse.
That's worse.
I mean, it's all pretty bad.
Listen. Granted, yes. Well, listen. If this is bad,
yeah.
No matter how you slice it, it's outside of God's design. However, if 2 consensual people are in a marriage and they have some sort of weird open marriage arrangement, that's not as bad as doing it behind your spouse's back. There's a difference there.
Yeah, it's like a
they're
little
both bad.
Situation. It's still going to end in complete destruction.
It's going to end in complete destruction either way.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
Yeah.
But there's levels to it. So it's like if you're telling, that's the way he's framing. No, you're just going and cheating and confessing after the fact.
Yeah.
Because she won't leave you.
It's a fact.
Hey, I had a hiccup last night. Just heads up.
Yeah. A hiccup.
They just sitting there laughing about it.
In fact, before he married me, he's like, I don't know if I'll ever be faithful. And I said, that's okay. So I walked down the aisle knowing I was marrying his worst, meaning that if he were to do something, the worst would be him stepping out.
And then in your marriage, were y'all faced with that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
How soon?
Off from the gate.
Yeah.
It's because he had permission.
Yeah, because he had permission.
You know what I think though? It's like, it's one thing if this is the case, but just how open they are about it and everything they're saying. Like a lot of people
This is an open marriage, bro.
Yeah.
This is an open marriage.
Is
That's
it
what
actively an open marriage or?
This is an open marriage for dude.
Oh.
Now I want to get into how is this dude a pastor? That's what I want to hear about. And when did he become a pastor?
Honesty. Be honest, it's fine. But understand what it is that you're being honest with, what you're promoting and how you're discussing it.
So I have 6 brothers, and all of us, just kind of womanizers, if you will.
Yeah.
Exodus 20 verse 5 talks about how the sins of your forefathers will visit you. Well, I'm telling you, them demons visited me.
This man's like, oh, sweet. My dad was a cheater. My granddad was a cheater. I can be a cheater because I can write it off with scripture saying the sins of my forefathers visited me.
Yeah, I mean, I hope. I'm really hoping for a redemptive twist in this.
I hope so.
I'm hoping for a redemptive twist in this because I don't think it's. I don't think that's your. I don't think Exodus is your get out of jail free card.
Definitely not.
Right.
And it was my brothers who are older than me struggle.
That's real.
And so that's a demon that we just had to fight.
Right.
So did he tell you it'll be a struggle, but tell you, son, you can overcome it? Did he try to tell you tools, or did he just say, this is just who we are, men are men?
He said, that's who you are, men are men.
Right.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah.
You don't just gotta be this guy. Oh, so they both bought into distorted worldviews. I'm still trying to figure out how is this dude a pastor. Please tell me that this is 25 years ago and they repented and they're doing great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But the one thing with you, he said, I'm hoping you don't spread your seed like I did with 10 kids, 6 women. He said, please get one woman and have all your children by her, which I've been able to pull.
So I'm happy that 10 kids, 6 baby mamas is not his testimony.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that's a so are we going the direction that I did this early and I've repented and then I found Jesus and everything has changed? I really hope that that's where this is going.
Off. We have 5 adult children who we had 5 kids in 6 years, 11 months and 16 days.
Wow.
3 boys, 2 girls, and now we almost got 6 grandkids. Well, 5.5 right now.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're in that season now.
Yeah.
So you felt like you still honored your father's request by not spreading your seed amongst everybody.
That's right.
Right.
I'd be just super curious if his kids did the same. Now,
Or just agree with that.
or agree with that, or how they feel about his womanizing ways, or how they talk about it. I'd be curious to see that.
Your dad, Alonzo, still? I said, yeah. He said, I remember when he would come in the same room and he would have different females with him. And to me, that was a flex. I'm like, that's what's up. And then this older gentleman, he said, is your grandfather, Lil Burn, still? I said, it is. He said, I remember when he used to come in this same room and he used to have different women with him. When he made that comment, it wasn't cute. Now, when the gentleman who knew my dad, that was cute. But when the second gentleman said it about my grandfather, I was like, wait a minute.
This is why like culture is impactful, because this idea of like a womanizing culture.
Yeah.
It can be in certain pockets, right? Because this isn't a racial thing, but in any pocket you have this like machismo, it's all good,
100%.
you know, type approach. And so
And then Isaiah.
Right.
And so when I left that night with the young lady, normally I would go upstairs and, do what you do. And I dropped her off and kept moving. I drove home scared that night.
So he didn't want to repeat the patterns of his dad. So 2 people, one celebrated it, one didn't celebrate it. And that the one not speaking about this in a positive way is what sounds like it made him kind of go a different direction.
Really?
I was like, wait a minute, because I grew up in church. I was saved, but I wasn't delivered.
You had this Kairos moment where you was like, hold on.
Right. Exactly. Because I grew up in the pews. My dad pastored for almost 40 years.
So the pastor had 6 baby mamas and 11 kids. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, some of these pastors be doing the most amount of disgusting.
Okay, well, that's pretty bad. Okay, so I get it. So his dad was a pastor. It sounds like his brother had the 6 baby moms with 10 different kids, but maybe it was his dad. It doesn't really matter.
This man was like this.
Right.
What made you decide to marry him?
I thought that the title husband would change him. I did. I walked in thinking that if he was my husband and I was his wife, that a title could make you change. I learned very quickly that titles do not make people change.
That's right.
And I also thought that if he would own me, I wanted to be Mrs. Steele. If he had ownership, then he would treat me accordingly. I had to learn that way that wasn't true either. And so I really, I just knew that if we could just be united, that would make a man change, but it doesn't. And plus, I needed to change also. We were 2 teenagers getting married, and I was looking for fulfillment. I was wanting to fulfill a void that I was missing. Of course, that void can only be filled by Jesus. I didn't know that then. But when I found out I was pregnant, before we got married, I ended up getting kicked out of my house by my parents. They were very upset by me.
Yeah, ladies, you can't change a man. You can't change a man. That's not how this works.
With me.
Now, if you're already married, you have more influence. But if you're marrying someone you know is a Rolling Stone like this, it's not. No.
And was moved into his parents' home, who were bishop.
Her parents were like, is this the guy who's got a roster? Nah, we not with that. And then she leaves to go to their place. You fine with my son having a roster? Me too. What's up? What's up? Hey, I got a roster still. You feel me? Nah.
I guess Bishop is also Protestant. I don't know. I'm like, anyways.
I'm not going to, listen, there's probably a lot more to this podcast, and maybe I'll revisit it someday. So I think this is always an interesting topic because of this whole, like, no judging things. And listen, there's always a line, right? There's things I don't like. There's things that I think are not good. But then there's things that involve everybody else, right? People think about things that happen within a relationship and they think it's just about the 2 people. But that's not what this is. This is about the other people they're sleeping with. This is about their children. This is also about their parents, right? This is also about the example that they're setting when they're broadcasting this stuff and the tone that they're using. So it's larger than that. Like, I've never been someone who like looks at 2 people in a relationship, and if they got weird proclivities, they like to live their life a certain way, even if it's not for me, I just don't care because it's none of my business, right? But when you broadcasting this stuff, when you harming everybody else, when you putting out this message, I think it's okay to look at it and be scrutinizing it. I think it's okay to be like, no. So that's just how I feel.
Well, it seems like, to be fair to this couple, it seems like they turned it around. So I think Abba's right, but it seems like they turned this thing around. Let me hear the kind of where the video lands.
This one pastor was preparing some bins to send to Haiti, right? So he was collecting clothes to send to Haiti. My mom was like, "I got clothes. I can give you can pass by my house." You know what I mean? And my mom knows how to manage her money, so she's able to do it. And the pastor was late an hour and a half. He was on time, but he was late because he couldn't believe that my mom was living at that house. So when he finally stepped up and he's like, yo, I don't want to be greeted by white people. They're going to be like, what are you doing here? And I got to explain some bunch of, he rang, my mom opened up and she's like, yeah, how you doing, Pastor? Here you go. Here you go. Here's the clothes, blah, 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 blah. He takes the clothes and then goes back the Sunday at church. And my mom had a best friend, right? She had a best friend at church.
It just sounds like Preach is going to share some of his, some of his background with faith that has not had the most positive impact on him, if I'm understanding this story correctly.
Two ladies were always chilling together, and that lady did even better for herself, more than my mom, right? But still, they friends. I'm friends with their kids, right? We chilling at church.
What happened?
And that same pastor, the same day, went to that lady right after he went to see my mom at church. This pastor gets up and he's like, "Bon, from party de bagay." It's like, I gotta speak about a couple of things, and he was talking about the money that you give, It was like, like he was treating my mom, and he was aiming at my mom. There's a bunch of rich around here that is not giving enough.
There's a bunch of big ladies, shot callers, ballers that are right here in this church and are living large. Oh no.
My mom was right there. Like they don't give enough. She was saying that they don't give enough the money, and they have to give enough, but they live in large. Because he was just basically he was just off Haiti, came here, and he thought he was supposed to live large, and then he stepped up to people that go to the church, and he's like, "What? That's how you be living?" And then you go to
more money than me?
Yeah, basically. And he was not used to that, but he passed the message. The whole sermon was that.
Oh man, pastors should never use the pulpit to drive their own agendas like that. And you can see this. Like, I mean, again, fast forward. Preach is an influential person. I don't know where he is with his faith, but he's been transparent about it. These are the downstream effects of when people of faith don't accurately represent Jesus the way they should. You should never be publicly shaming people in church. Seems like Preach's mom was very diligent financially, was able to live in a nice home, and the pastor then assumed a whole lot about their financial situation without knowing them, and then kind of put her on blast in church, which is pretty wild. Yikes. Okay. Guys, before we get out of here again, one more time, I want you guys to know, Occupied Till I Come, 60-day devotional on sale for our big Father's Day sale. 35 days in the Old Testament, 25 days in the New Testament. This is where we actually transition into the New Testament, day 36. And what's cool about this is we have a reading that you go through. There's a verse here that kind of summarizes the reading, and then there is a additional chapter of reading with custom journal prompts at the end of each reading. So there's also a section for prayer requests. I always recommend you keep track of your prayers. Why are we telling you guys about this? Well, to show off our brand new amazing overhead camera, but because we're doing our biggest sale ever. Well, excuse me, not our biggest sale this year. I think our biggest sale since Black Friday or Christmas, and this is $22. We usually have these upwards of $40. They're pretty much 50% off, available right now, and along with our entire Priest Provider Protector collection. So Father's Day always gets slept on. Don't sleep on fathers. Go scoop your father, your grandfather, your mentor, your pastor. Get them something. Get something for yourself. Every time you put this on, you're reminding yourself what it is that you are called to as a man of God, to be a priest, provider, protector of your home. We also have the individual pieces. We got some puzzles on here. We got the long sleeves. We got our cheapest hoodie we've ever made, $45 hoodie, same blank as this oversized tee, this is the one I'm wearing, Lane 7. So go to blessgod.shop, get that now. I think you guys will appreciate it. Get your Father's Day shopping done. Like, knock it out. Don't worry about it later. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to comment below and subscribe and all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.